If you want to adjust your tracking settings in WebWork, you can do that by going to the settings, and then from here go down to tracking, and then here you can adjust your tracker. Firstly, here in the general section, you can choose what tracker mode you'll be using. Firstly, we have the visible tracker. It runs openly on the user's device, clearly showing when tracking is active. It will show up as this application over here. Then from here you can adjust the tracker, so for example who should control when tracking starts and stops. You can either let the members control it, so they can manually start and stop the tracker, or turn on automatic tracking. The time tracking starts and stops automatically without user input. Next you can choose how do you want your members to track their time. For example, we have the desktop app, browser time tracker, and mobile app. If you don't want them to track time using the browser time tracker, you can go ahead and deselect this. This way they won't be able to track time on the browser time tracker. This includes the web version and the Chrome extension. While using the visible tracker, the way you invite members is by going down to the people section, and then from there you can start inviting members. Next we have the silent tracker. The silent tracker is a separate app from the regular desktop tracker and must only be installed on company-owned devices. This tracker works in the background, tracking time and activity without showing notifications or alerts. From here you won't be able to edit the silent tracker. The way you invite members using the silent tracker is by going ahead and downloading the silent tracker on their device. This way they'll be automatically added into your workspace. Lastly, we have visible and silent tracker. From here you can have both the visible and silent tracker within one workspace. To do that, the members you want to have the visible tracker can go ahead and invite them from the people section, and the members that are going to use the silent tracker, you can go ahead and download the silent tracker on their device. They'll be automatically added to the workspace. From here you can also adjust the settings for the visible tracker only. So once you've selected the tracker mode you want, so for example visible and silent, you can go ahead and press save changes. Next we have desktop software. Firstly, here we have settings for visible and silent trackers. Here you can choose after how many minutes the tracker will stop after no activity. So after 10 minutes, if the tracker doesn't detect any mouse movements, keyboard strokes or scrolls, the tracker will stop. So for example, currently set to 10, I can go ahead and set it to 15. Next we have settings that are only for the visible tracker. Firstly, here you can choose to show idle/inactivity warning pop-up after 15 minutes of inactivity. If this is disabled, when the set inactivity minutes are reached, the tracker will stop automatically and resume tracking as soon as it detects a mouse click or keystroke, without showing any pop-up. So when this is enabled, a warning pop-up will appear after the specified number of minutes of inactivity. Now if we enable allow adding idle time, this way when the set inactivity minutes are reached, the tracker will display an idle time pop-up and begin tracking idle time. When the user returns, they'll need to confirm whether they're working or not. If they choose that they were not working, they can either choose that this time was break time, or completely discard this time. From here you can also require activity description for idle time. What that means is that if they select that they were working, they'll need to write an activity description. Without the activity description, they won't be able to add the idle time. Next we have auto start. This way whenever the device is turned on, the tracker will automatically start tracking time. Then we have remind to write an activity description. From here you can go ahead and select after how many hours or minutes the user will be reminded to write an activity description. For example, you can set it to 30 minutes. So this way every 30 minutes the user will be reminded to write an activity description here in the desktop application. And last we have allow workspace members to select which monitors to track. So for example, if this is enabled, members can go into the desktop application, then go to settings, and then from here they can select how many monitors can be captured. If this is disabled, the tracker will capture all monitors that are available. Next we have the advanced section. At the very top, you can allow users to track time without a project and without a task. This way you don't need to create a task and project for them to track time. So you can go ahead and enable these settings. Then we have allow overtime tracking. You can either choose to allow it for workspace-wide or team-wide. If this is disabled, whenever the member reaches the weekly limit on a project, they won't be able to track time for that project. Next we have in-office/remote detection. To use this feature, you'll need to write the IP address of your office. This way, whenever a member is working within that IP address, they'll be displayed as they're working from office. And whenever they're working outside of this IP address, they'll be shown as remote. To view this, you can go to the real-time section. And from here in the work location, you can view where they're working from. Then we have settings for non-desktop trackers. So for example, this is the mobile and web tracker, as well as the Chrome extension. So from here you can choose the max inactive hours. So when the tracker reaches the maximum hours of inactivity, it will stop automatically. From here you can select what the max inactive hours are. Next we have desktop notifications. So from here you can warn members when they use non-productive apps and websites, and then from here you can select how many minutes they can use these applications for. After that we have notify members when they are late from the scheduled time, and notify members if they turned off the tracker earlier than the scheduled time. For these to be able to work, a member needs to have a shift. For these pop-ups you can also require to type a reason. This way they'll only be able to submit it with a reason. And lastly we have security. From here you can choose whitelisted IP addresses. This way you can select what IP addresses members can work from. So whenever a member tries to work outside of this IP address, they won't be able to track time.